Hey guys, so I have been, getting a lot of crap lately for saying that I am anti-feminist. So I just want to address that. And my main question that I'm going to start with is the line that I am constantly hearing from everybody is that, you believe in gender equality, therefore you're a feminist because feminism equals equality. And I don't think that's true. I really don't. Because, you know, there are three ways to approach gender issues as far as male and female. I'm not specifically talking about transgender issues, which are another thing I'll cover, but that's not what I'm going for right now. Basically, there is the MRA men's rights view, which is women are up here, men are down here, so we need to bring men up to women's level. Then there's the feminist view, which is, men are up here, women are down here, we need to bring women up to the men's level. Then there is the equality, egalitarian. My reasoning and a lot of other people's reasoning is that, in some situations, women are here, men are here. In other situations, men are here, women are here. And that to fix those, we have to approach different issues individually and think to ourselves, how can we even out the sexes? How can we even out our biases? And that's a hard thing to do, and it takes time, but that to me is equality. Equality is about seeing where in society we can work on different issues. To me, feminism avoids, basically the easiest way I look at it is that feminism does care about men's issues, transgender issues, LGBT issues in general, any sexuality or gender issue. They do care about it, but the way they approach it is, we'll deal with women's issues. We'll deal with women being seen as weaker. We'll deal with this. And then magically, issues, men's issues and, trans issues and all those issues will be fixed. Ta-da! And that is just stupid. It's stupid. It's never worked. It doesn't do anything. I will believe that feminism is for equality. When feminism I don't see feminists opening men's shelters, even though men are almost as likely as women to be in a domestic violence dispute. I don't see, feminists protesting the fact that, women get sent to jail for a shorter time for the same crime. I don't see them freaking out when there's completely ridiculous wording about female, teachers having sex with their students. I don't see them, coming out for trans issues. In some cases, in the case of very radical feminists, I see them, being completely insulting to trans women and saying they can't be in their little feminist space because they're not a real woman. And that's just completely disgusting. Those people, I have to say, you believe lesbianism is the way to go. Fine and dandy, lesbianism is a choice, but for some reason, being transgender and, being a woman and, being born a male, but being a woman is not real and you're just making that shit up. That's ridiculous and hypocritical nonsense. Another one here is that, to me, feminism is unempowering. And, I've really seen this lately because I argue against feminism, and somebody always gives me one of a few arguments that I hear over and over and over. The first one is basic, is the one I've been covering, which is feminism is for equality stuff, so if you're for equality, you're a feminist. No, I'm not a feminist. There are ways to be for equality without being a feminist. End of story. Second would be that you're against feminism because of the societal stigma against feminism. Cue tumbleweed, because as far as I know, almost every fucking sane, intelligent person I know is either pro-feminism or, on the side of feminism in general, because it's so ingrained in our society, parroted that feminists are for equality, without any basis. It's like the burden of proof, the burden of proof is on the person who's not a feminist because feminism is so ingrained. And that to me shows, there's no stigma against being feminist. If you're getting your feminism stigma from idiots on Facebook making Back to the Kitchen jokes, we have a different story, but that exists in any issue. And the same can be said about the crazy, the women saying, misandry doesn't exist, or other jokes about men's rights. Like, both of them are just rude and unnecessary, and they give nothing to discussion, but it doesn't mean there's a stigma against feminism. I have never been bullied so badly in my life than whenever I talk about how I'm anti-feminist. Ever. So, you know what? I don't know what the fuck the stigma is. If you really can show me examples where it is stigmatized to be a feminist, let me know, because I just don't see it. And the third one, which is my favorite ever, is that I have internalized misogyny. the reason that I am anti-feminist must be that I am internalizing my societal misogyny against women, and that I can't just think for myself that the reason is because of the men and because of the patriarchy. Fuck you. I'm a thinking person. I'm a thinking woman and a proud woman, and I can make my own decisions. And, using all these tactics like, it's stigma, it's internalized misogyny, feminism for equality, if you're for equality, you're a feminist, is just a way of doing what you've been accusing men of for years. Silencing women's ability to make their own decisions based on their own conclusions they draw from the world around them. I was a feminist. I will admit I was a feminist. When I was in my late teens, probably from times about 17 to 19, I identified as a feminist. And then I really looked into what I was signing up for, and I realized most posts I saw about feminism were just so problematic. And I was like, why do these people hate men so much? What is going on? And, just over and over. And, not all feminists hate men. I'm not trying to say that. But the movement in itself is not loving of all genders. The movement in itself is, we care about women, and, oh yeah, we don't like men getting bad stuff too. But women first. And, and this all, of course, goes back to the patriarchy. And I'm going to link a beautiful video on the patriarchy by the lovely Girl Writes What. I believe she's in MRA, so I don't agree with her on everything. I'm not 100% on that, but she does have a lot of great resources, a lot of great points. She's extremely intelligent. So, regardless of, what I agree with her in terms of, being in name the same movement as her, she's totally worth a watch. But I'm going to link a video. She talks about patriarchy and what patriarchy really means, and how patriarchy is not some invention by men to oppress women. It's a biological and evolutionary, way for society to have survived this far. So I encourage you to watch that. So I'm not going to talk about patriarchy because everything I could say, she said 50 times better. So yeah, so that's basically what I'm going to say. Another thing that bothers me is that the assumption that because I'm anti-feminist, I must also be anti-choice, anti-sex, and anti-women. That's not true. I would say at least 50% of anti-feminists are still pro-choice, myself included. However, I do believe it is problematic that, feminists act like men have so much sexual choice and so much sexual freedom. Instead, men have the choice to wrap their winky and hope for the best, because whatever the choice a woman makes, they're fucked. They want the baby, she doesn't, they're fucked. They don't want the baby, she does, they're fucked. Child support for 18 years. I'm not saying that you can eliminate those easily. They're gray area issues. For sure, I believe in the choice of a woman's body. If I get pregnant, it's my decision. It's my body. It's not my boyfriend's body. But, the simplest way to fix this, that a lot of feminists seem to forget, and a lot of MRAs seem to forget, is if you're having sex with someone, talk to them about the outcome, because that's really the only way to, do it. That's being irresponsible to not discuss the possibilities. So, overall, I'm pro-choice, but there are issues that could be worked out, and that it is problematic that feminists act as though women are so sexually restricted while men have a free fucking reign, and that's not true. Women have way more choices. Women can have birth control, several different types of, female condoms, diaphragms, IUDs, like patches, fucking needles. There's so many options. And on top of that, if one of those messes up, you can take a Plan B the next day. If a guy has sex and the condom breaks and the woman doesn't take a Plan B, he has no choice. So, and that goes on with the slut shaming thing. That's another thing that I found, that women literally, feminists literally seem to care more about women's ability to walk around in skirts than they do about, men getting custody of their kids, women going to jail shorter periods of time than men for the same crimes, etc., etc. So it's like, there are men's and women's issues, but lately the focus seems to be on rape culture, which is another thing that Girl Writes What down there talks about better than I will, and rape culture and slut shaming. I don't believe in slut shaming, because I believe that women and men should be able to have sex without, it's none of my business what a person does, frankly. It's none of my fucking business. I don't care. I personally do not like, I've never had sex with a lot of people, and that's my choice. But if other people make a different choice, they're consenting adults, go for it. I don't care. However, to act as though only women are slut shamed is stupid. The term man whore, there's that for a reason, because men that sleep around are often looked down on too. And sometimes for good reason, sluttiness, promiscuity on its own is not a problem. If two consenting adults want to go to a bar and have sex, fine. But if you have a reputation for being a man whore or a slut, it is going to affect your relationships. People are going to be scared that, you're going to cheat on them and stuff. And, that's something to talk about. It's not saying you should shame the person for their choices, but you do need to expect that. You need to accept that people might think differently of you. You make your own choices and you go that way. If my boyfriend had slept with 40 women before meeting me, I'd be a little bit like, I'm going to be careful because I might not trust him because he's cheated on a lot of girls. I don't see why that's, oppressive or evil of me, but I guess I must just be crazy. The final thing I'm going to talk about is rape culture, and the thing that bugs me the most is that rape is, for feminists, the ultimate in, rape protection technology is guilty until proven innocent. If a woman says she's raped, by God, she's raped, and there's no evidence, no investigation needs to be done. And that's stupid. And, if you read the rape checklist, which is a stupid piece of shit that basically states that I've been raped and raped like 1,000 times, even though I never have been, nor have I obviously ever raped anyone. It's disgusting. But, this whole idea that, if you consent to have sex and then you regret it, that's rape. If you are drunk and the boy is drunk, you're the one that's raped if you're a woman because women are dumber than men, or women are too stupid. I don't know. It's stupid and anti-women bullshit. And also, there's always saying women, men are raped by men. It still means men rape, blah, blah, blah. This hand is me not talking. This feminist talking. But a big part of the reason is that statistically, and the way they define rape for men is men can't really be raped by women in those countries. So obviously there's not going to be any data on it. Yes, men perpetuate more rapes, but that's not going to be solved by, telling men not to rape. It's not going to be solved by putting men in jail for possible false accusations where they're going to be raped themselves. Oh yeah, that's another big one. Feminists don't care about the hundreds of thousands of